Hi, I am working and I have an experience of 8 plus years. So today we will learn C sharp access modifier. So before we start this chapter, we should have knowledge of assembly that we have already seen in our previous chapter and inheritance that we will see overview of inheritance in few seconds. So we having 5 types of access modifier: public, private, protected, internal, protected and internal. So public, it can be accessed anywhere, there is no restriction. So to read the definition one by one of this access modifier, it is better than switch to Visual Studio and see an example with example one by one. Okay, so I have an graph or chat, you can say, so by which we will look example. So first is public. Public means it will be accessed anywhere, there is no restriction. Okay, then switch to Visual Studio and create a new project. So to create a new project, I will press Ctrl Shift and then N. Now I will give the name of project access modifier assembly 1. So now select console app .NET framework. So why I have given the name assembly 1, we will see in few seconds. So create OK. Now it will create our project with the name access modifier assembly 1. Okay. Now we having this namespace. We have already seen what's the namespace, what the use of this. So to better understanding, we will create our own class. So create class public class, and then I will give name my class. Okay, one more class I will create, public class, and then my class 2. Okay, so by using this public access modifier, we can access the variable or methods or properties, whatever, anywhere, there is no restriction. So I will create one property and one method. So property is public int, for example val1, and one method also. So public void my method. So we having one property and one method, and we having two class. So I will try to access this public variable inside this class first. Inside this class means within this opening curly braces and closing curly braces inside this class. So I will try to access this public variable first inside this class. So val1 we can access, we are able to access this val1, there is no restriction. If I will try to access this properties inside this class, means this is another class. So first we will have to create an instance of this class so that we can access these properties or methods. Why we are going to create an instance of this class? Because this is non-static. But if this is static, there is no need to create an instance of this class. Just by class name we can access this, like my class dot val1, my class dot my method. But for now it is non-static, so we will create instance of this class. So my class m is equal to new my class. I have created the instance of this my class, and with this instance I will try to access this variable val1. So m dot, sorry, first we will have to create a method so that we can access public void my method to okay. So I have created the instance of this class my class M is equal to new my class. Now M dot, we can see we are able to access val1, this one val1 also my method. Why we are able to this variable and this method inside this class? Because this is public. Okay, this is public, so we can access. So by the definition of public, we can access public variable or public method or public properties anywhere there is no restriction. We can see there is no restriction. Okay, now public. Now second, private. So by the definition, it will be accessible only within the class, only within the class, not outside the class, only within the class. So for example, I will create another variable, private, this time private int val2. Okay, val2. So now this is private, so it can be accessed in this class, because by the definition we can access only within the class. So if I will try to access this val2, I will be able to access. Okay, I am able to access this val2. But what will happen if I will try to this access inside this class, m dot val2, m dot val? No, we cannot access. Why? Because this val2 is private, so it will be accessible only inside the class, not outside of this class. Okay, now private is done, public is done, private is done. Now third is protected. So by the definition of the protected, it will be accessible within the class. Okay, it will be accessible within the class. First, so protected int val3, so it will be accessible within the class. So val3 I will be able to access. Yeah, val3 I am able to access. Now it will be accessible within the class, and the class which is derived from, means derived class. So in this case we have the concept of inheritance. So what is inheritance? In inheritance we should have at least two class. We should have at least two class. Now we have two class, my class and my class 2. And in this case, if this class will inherit, how to inherit? This with this sign, give the name of class, my class. In this case, now my class is this, my class is parent class, and this is child class. Okay, this is parent class, this is child class. Okay, don't worry about inheritance. In upcoming videos we will look into that in very depth. What is inheritance, what is the use of that? For now I am giving only the overview so that we could understand the concept of access modifier. So in this case, this my class is parent and this my class 2 is derived. In the same way, if I will inherit here my class 2, in this case now my class 2 is parent and my class is child class. Okay, so by the definition of protected, we can access within the class, we have already seen, and also we can access from the derived class. Okay, in the derived class in the same assembly. So we have also seen the concept of assembly in previous chapter. Same assembly means we having a single project inside this solution. So we having now a single assembly. We having now only one assembly. So how to see the assembly? Just right click on that. First save this program. Right click on that. Open containing folder. Go to bin, then debug. Okay, there is no files or folder here. Why? Because we have not yet built our project. So first I will try to build, and then we will see assembly will be generated. Exe file will be generated with more 2 files. So we can see build started. Once builds completed, okay, now we having one exe file. Assembly has been generated. So this is our assembly. Okay, so I will comment out. Now protected derived class. Okay, so in this case we will derive this my class. Okay, now if I will create instance of this my class 2, m2 is equal to new my class 2. First I will remove this and I will try to access with this m2 value, m2 dot, we can see I am not able to access this val3. I am not able to access this val3. But if this class my class 2 will inherit our my class, then I will be able to access this val3 value, m2 dot val3. You can see I'm able to access this val3. Why? Because this val3 is protected, and by concept of and by the definition we can access within the class and the class which is derived from. Okay, and also we can access protected member derived class in different assembly. Okay, derived class in different assembly. This is derived class within the same assembly. So within the same assembly means within the same project. Now derived class with different assembly also. So for different assembly we will have to create another project. So I will create one more project. So to create a project, just right click on solution, click on add, and then new project. Select console app and then give the name whatever we want. So I will give access modifier assembly 2. Okay, assembly 2. Now select console app and click OK. Now we having two project, means we having two assemblies. Okay, one more things. If I want to access properties or method of this assembly 1 inside assembly 2, then we will have to add reference of assembly 1 inside assembly 2. In the same way, if we want to access the variable or properties or method of assembly 2 inside assembly 1, then we will have to add reference of assembly 2 inside assembly 1. Okay, so this is our, we can see assembly 2, and this is our assembly 1. Okay, now I want to access the properties or methods of assembly 2 inside assembly 1. So we will have to add reference of assembly 2 inside assembly 1. So how to add a reference? So this is reference. Just right click on reference, click on add reference. Okay, now go to project. Inside the solution we can see access modifier assembly 2. Just click on that and click OK. Now we can see this is access modifier assembly 2 has been added with this inside this reference. Now we having the reference of assembly 2 inside assembly 1. So which is assembly 1? This is assembly 1. Okay, so this is assembly 1. Now by the definition of protected, we are able to access the variable or method or properties of derived class in different assembly. So I will try to access the properties of assembly 2 inside assembly 1. Okay, so this is our assembly 1. I will try to access. So first we will have to create a class. So I will just copy this class, or we can create our own another class. So public class my class new. Inside that we will have a method public void. Why I'm giving void? Because void does not return anything. So my method 3. Okay, so this is our assembly second, and I want to give a variable. So public, not public, protected, because we are looking protected. So protected int tst, okay, tst1 for example. Now I will try to access this protected variable. We can also mark this protected. Oh, sorry. Now I will try to access this protected variable inside our assembly1. Okay, inside our assembly1. So by the definition, first it should be a derived class. So I will derive this this my class new this time. So first we will look into, first we will see that it is working or not. So my class 2, we having already a object of our instance of m2, my class 2. So m2 okay, first we will have to use this my class new. Inside this we will have to create an instance of this. So my class new, if I will try to access my class, just copy out my class new, it is showing error because we will have to import this namespace. So just click on this arrow and import using access modifier assembly2. Now we can access this, there is no error. Okay, so I will try to access this m2 dot, what's the method, what's the variable name, tst1. I'm not able to access tst1. Okay, so by the definition, this is one assembly and this is another assembly, and I am trying to access the properties of assembly2 inside assembly1, but I'm not able to access. So what will happen now in this case, if I will inherit this my class new, and now if I will try to access this m2 dot, we can access, you can see tst1. Okay, so by the definition, protected, it will be accessible with the derived class in different assembly, and we can see this is one assembly and this is second assembly. We have in different assembly, and I am able to access this tst1 because my class 2 has been in my class 2 is inherited my class new. Okay, so we have seen public, private, protected. Now internal. So internal, it will be accessible within the class, it will be accessible within the class. So first I will create a internal variable, this time internal int val4 internal. So within the class it will be accessible. So val4, we can see I am able to access val4. So within the class, derived class in same assembly. Okay, derived class in same assembly. So derived class in same assembly. So derived class means now I will inherit this my class, derived class in same assembly. So now my class to m2 dot, we can access val4. Okay, we can access val4. So derived class in same assembly, we are in same assembly. Non-derived class, same assembly. This time non-derived class, same assembly. It means that if we have a internal variable, internal int tst2, okay, so non-derived class in different assembly. Now this time my class new is not inherited with this my class. Okay, I will remove this. Okay, this time this my class new is in one assembly and this is our another assembly. This time my class new is not inherited with my class 2, and I am trying to access this internal variable tst2 with m2. So what will happen? It is not accessible. it is not accessible. Okay, so why it is not accessible, we will look into that. By the definition, internal non-derived class, oh, non-derived class same assembly. Okay, so within the class we have seen derived class same assembly, we have seen non-derived class same assembly, not different assembly. Okay, same assembly. So non-derived class same assembly, it means that this class is non-inherited my class, and I will try to access val4. We can see val4. So my class 2 m2 dot val4 derived, where is non-derived class same assembly, it should be accessible. So okay, oh sorry, m dot val4, which we are able to access. Okay, why I am trying to access with m and sometime m2, because if we are talking about inheritance, means if this class is going to be inherited inheritance using derived class, then we will try to access with this class, means this child class. But in case of in this case, for now we don't have any parent or child kind of relationship. So this time I will first create instance of this class, so we have already, and after this instance we will try to access this variable or method. Okay, but if you have a parent child kind relationship, for example if this class is inherited by this class, this time we will try to access with this variable, means m2. Okay, so m dot val4 we can access, we are able to access. So non-derived class same assembly we have seen. So in one word if I will describe, then it means that internal variable or internal method or sorry, internal variable or internal whatever, it will be accessible anywhere in the same assembly. Okay, anywhere in the same assembly, anywhere it will be accessible. Now we have seen public, private, protected, internal. Now protected internal. Okay, so first within the class, so first I will create a protected internal val5. The name val5 does not exist, oh sorry. Okay, so val5, we having val5. So within the class, where is, within the class, if I will try to access this val5 within the class, so I am able to access, you can see val5 within the class. Okay, that's fine. Now derived class same assembly, so derived class same assembly. If I will try to access this val4 with m2, I am not able to access. Okay, val4. So derived class same assembly. Derived class means now this time it will inherit my class, and then my class 2 m2 dot we can access. Now you can see val5. So derived class same assembly. Okay, derived class same assembly, we have seen derived class same assembly. Now one more, derived class different assembly. Derived class, okay, derived class different assembly. Now this time we will create a protected variable, protected internal and tst3. Now I have created a variable tst3 inside this assembly 2, and I will try to access from assembly 1 from different assembly. Okay, so with derived class, so my class new, first we will inherit that my class new, and now I will try to access this tst3. So my class 2 tst3 we can access. Okay, so by the definition, non-derived class, where is derived class, different assembly protected. Okay, so we have seen all the access modifier with an example. Now in upcoming video uh, we will look inheritance concept. Okay, now we have done from our side. Now you can like, subscribe and share, and if you have any query related to access modifier, then you can ask at below mail id fresher2coder@gmail.com. If you have any code that is giving error or any exception, then you can send also that particular code at the below mail id, and I will respond in the same mail. Okay, so thank you for watching.